Hello, and welcome to another episode of Trifara Cheat. The last time some of us met, we spoke about climate change and cricket. Who knew that a few days after we spoke, the climate in the Indian dressing room itself was going to drastically change? The uh, the very Gambhir-looking Gautam suddenly looks a lot more grumpier. The Virat amount of Indian fans are fast shrinking, and the captain's fan club can no longer afford to be Besharma. It is in such a climate that we return for another episode just in time as the Bumrah Glenn Maxwell Trophy is about to enter its final chapters. But before that, let me introduce my co panelists. First up is Swapnil, who, after a winning start in our quiz series, has gone the same way India did against New Zealand and now is in desperately need of a few wins or points. He was in the middle of a very busy fortnight at work when his phone rang a few days ago and the screen flashed JS. As he answered the call, the person on the other side went, Bhai, work from home ya hybrid? A deep conversation followed after that, the contents of which are unfortunately not public. Anyways, Swapnil, can you say hi?
Hello.
Great, thanks. Next up is Farouk, who is on a marauding run like Steve was Australians, and after a losing start has won all quizzes since. Born in India but now living in Australia, he remains under no confusion on which side to support. Like he deftly showed us when he joined to watch the 2023 World Cup finals, he started the game by cheering wildly for India and ended it telling grieving Indian fans that he's always been a big Travis Head supporter. Welcome, SRK. Say hello.
Hello.
Great.
And
Uh,
we cannot forget that night, right? When he suddenly changed from a Indian supporter to an Australian supporter, and we were just like looking at him in for those 5, 7 minutes when that turnaround happened.
exactly. And
So
true
there
to
is a
true to his
saying a lot of people say here in Australia, that thing had my head in. And I never understood that meaning for last 10 years until that final. And ever since that, Travis had my head in. Like I now know the meaning of that phrase.
okay. Great. Nice. But true to his form, Sarup has been supporting. Started by supporting India in this series, then supported Australia in the second to make up for the first one, and then third he got bored of both sides and supported the weather. So here we are in the series at the moment. But
Yeah,
but
I think King Kohli will come good in MCG for Swapnil's sake, and India will
great,
win this game, and Sydney will have rain.
great, awesome. But King Kohli, I think, can wait for a while. Our topic of discussion today is another Indian player, a great uh, man from Chennai who also is good at chess, but his primary profession remains cricket. Is Ravichandran Ashwin, who's recently retired from the game after the third Border Gavaskar Trophy Test match, and also, has immediately after that landed in Chennai, made a lot of statements, made a lot of buzz. Uh, so we want to spend a few minutes discussing Ashwin and also his book, which recently came out and which is probably one of the nicer cricket books to have come out in the last few years or so. I have the streets. So uh, any opening remarks on Ashwin, the player, before we probably discuss a little bit of his book as well. Uh, Anything about him, both of you?
I
Swaroop, you
think
can start probably.
he's
Yeah.
left the game with a lot of questions to be answered. Right? Uh, you have said time and again that it would be a litmus test for India to play at home when Ashwin and Jadeja will not be around as a pair. And that was quite evident in this last test series against New Zealand when we lost 3-0, when they were both in their, not so greatest, of the streak. So, yeah, looks like
Yeah.
it's going to be a massive transition. Uh, he's an absolute legend. 532 test wickets in 104 or 5 games is an outstanding record. I was reading somewhere. He's got more man of the series awards than Tendulkar. He's got more wickets in subcontinent than Vaughan and a couple of other overseas spinners. which doesn't include India, obviously, right? Like when he traveled in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, whatever, and he's got more runs than quite a lot of pale players, and one of them was like Shikhar Dhawan, right? So and few
More
others. So it was
centuries,
very
probably. More
interesting.
centuries. Yeah. More test centuries.
Test runs as well. He's got
Test runs as well.
3,000
Yeah.
test runs or
Yeah.
something like that. So his contributions are immense for India.
Yeah.
536 runs and 3,000 test runs. Imagine
Right.
that. He's an out and out match winner. So
Yeah.
and it was disappointing the way he left in third test match. He could have just traveled for another couple of days. So
Yeah.
something is not right in the dressing room. There's a
Something definitely not right. But just one quick remark on that. His record in the India New Zealand Test series. So I read somewhere that there were only two home series that he played, or he had a rather poor Test series at home. One was that series in against New Zealand recently, and one was the one in 2012 against England. In both these series, I think he averaged more than 40. And it is not a coincidence that these are the only two home series that India has lost in those many years. So absolute a legend at home, and probably a colossal player. So I think it's going to be very difficult to fill his boots. Whoever
and
comes
away
in.
as well. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get a lot of criticism shortly with a friend. But the kind of wickets that he has taken at very crucial stages
Yeah.
in various overseas victories, people don't notice them because probably the average goes a little higher, which happens to the great fast bowlers when they bowl in India. The average goes quite high, right? So that's obviously going to be the case. But yeah, he's taken some great wickets and match-winning wickets in quite a lot of overseas win. So he has contributed in many victories for India outside of subcontinent. Uh,
I, and I
in
think
fact, one of the
11.
game, remember the Bangladesh game, right? One last year or something, or a
Mhm.
couple of years back, I don't remember. He and Suresh Iyer won a very tricky game against Bangladesh. We were chasing 150 odd runs and we were like 70 for 7 or something like that, right? And from there, they stitched a fantastic partnership. He scored crucial runs. Also, the last home series against Bangladesh, he scored 100 and then the Jadeja followed afterwards.
Yeah,
So he scored
actually
hundreds in very
in
tricky
India,
places
I
Probably
think
against
they
England
performing,
also.
yeah in India.
probably performing against Bangladesh probably categorizes as a great uh, player.
No,
No,
Probably.
I mean,
actually,
like the
yeah.
statistics. I mean, you are the one who believes in statistics. You keep counting Kohli's 100, uh,
I
and
find
then you kind of
both of you are
ignore these guys
trying
at the
to.
same stage.
No, no, I can see that.
536 wickets taken by the man, and then he's got hundreds and 3,000
11
runs.
Also
And
11
if
man
you
of the
if
series
you're not going to
awards.
call, yeah, the more than Sachin Tendulkar,
Yeah.
and
No, I'm like
if you're not
just
going to call this
looking at
legend, then fine. You are entitled to your
Indian legend.
opinion.
I'm categorizing him as an Indian legend. Don't
Oh,
tell me
he's from
that.
India. He's from India, so he has to be an
No,
Indian
no, he's
legend.
not in the
So
category of Muralidharan Vaughan or
no, we have
Glenn
no
McGrath
no
or.
no one is putting him in that category because they've got insane amount of
We
wickets,
need to
eight
be
hundred,
very.
700,
No, we should be very clear
536.
with our thoughts, right? With the audiences that what greatness is.
Mm.
So,
So
But
he's
I think
he's
I would
nowhere
also
he's
like
nowhere
to
in that bracket.
I would also like to bring in a different point, slightly different point here, in support of why we should celebrate Ashwin more, is because we're a country which celebrates batsmen, right? We're a country which is
Yeah.
obsessed with batsmen. So for a country which has been obsessed with their Tendulkars and Dravids and Kohlis and Sharmas, for a player to come around and take 11 Man of the Series awards and be the cornerstone, and the reason for which India has been winning home series after home series for more than 10 years. And if you're now going to say that no, we're not going to celebrate him because he was average outside of home, which also is debatable. Uh, I think that's not a fair argument to have. So we
uh,
must kind of
uh,
change this culture of celebrating only batsmen. Uh,
no,
that's what I
we
would
should
say.
celebrate
Yeah.
Ashwin. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely. We should celebrate Ashwin, but we should be very, 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 very clear what grades are. We are using it for every other player these days. So we have like brought that category completely down from where it was. So that's why that topic came up. He's an Indian legend. We should celebrate his success because it helped India to win, right? It's not the neighbors that won. So we should celebrate. And one point that uh, I would like to make over here is we are sad that Ashwin is going and we might lose dominance at home. Probably we spoke about it, Ashish, yesterday, short while. It would be blessing in disguise, probably if we don't have good spinners going forward, not match winners. Then we would make some cricket pitches. We should not be making dust balls where Mitchell Santner and Ajaz
Hmm.
Patel are bowling Kohli and Co out like for nothing. So, like these guys, we are losing our batsmen. The confidence of batsmen is going down. Nobody's even able to make 50. And we saw when we played against England, we made better pitches. It was good viewing, right? It made for good matches. So probably we should stop making spinner-friendly wickets and let spinners play and let them, what do you say, earn their wickets. So we can call them categorically as greats.
Yeah, could happen. Could happen because
20, 28 bowling average Ashwin has got, right? And 25 Shane Warne. So you can't compare him against Wani. Wani was all-time great or perhaps the best bowler ever. And Murli has got the most number of wickets. So we are nowhere comparing those two guys to Ashwin. But I think Ashwin has its own, place in history of Indian cricket. Has done a
Again,
lot for
yeah,
them.
I'm for it. He has a lot of things in Indian cricket. What I'm trying to tell you is don't categorize him as world great. He's an Indian legend, Indian great.
So
So
we're not saying
we should
we are
celebrate it.
all we are saying is left the Indian cricket quite a lot dearer after his retirement.
And one important point we are missing over here is he left the team at 1-all in a do or die series in Australia, where we are a player short now. I don't think an Indian legend or a great player should be doing this in the middle of series when the series is not decided.
So, like I was saying, I think mid-series retirements always leave a sour taste in the mouth. But you never know we will never know what happened behind the screen, what transpired, what was discussed. Maybe they discussed and they said that he'll not be selected in the last two games anyway, and so he made the decision. I may giving him the benefit of doubt, but if you decide to not give him the benefit of doubt, yeah, then maybe you can make an argument that he should have waited till the end of the series and then not retired. Uh, but you also don't know the mindset of the player. Maybe he didn't like the fact that he was leapfrogged by Washington Sundar as uh, as the first choice. Uh, yeah, hard to make that kind of call either for or against him. I would say personally.
Yeah, I think Sharma made it clear in his press conference, right? So he was sort of annoyed when Sundar was chosen over him in the first test match. He made his decision that he wants to retire. But Sharma, when he landed, he persuaded him to stick around and play that late test match, which it wasn't a great outing for him. And then Brisbane, they made it clear they're going to drop him. And then after Jadeja's fantastic batting display, Jadeja is obviously going to be their first choice spinner in Melbourne. So he can't see his future in the next two games, right? So they'll stick with Jadeja, and if it's going to be spinner friendly wicket, I think they might want to go with Sundar. So that's what.
With
I I would just want to leave the audience with this book that some of us read in the last couple of months. I Have the Streets by Ravichandran Ashwin, which came out a few months ago, and which remains probably one of the nicer cricket books that I've read in the last few years. Why it is nice? A couple of things that come to my mind. One is that it tells you a lot about what you did not already know of the player. by watching him play. So it gives you stories and nuggets from his childhood. It tells you about his love for the game, how he remained connected with the game, even when he had a terrible injury from which it took him a couple of years to recover. During that time, he remained connected with his club cricket team as a scorer. His love for even the game of cricket that he plays with his friends, something called as RUCA, the Ramachandrapuram Underarm Cricket Association that they've formed, where they participate in underarm cricket tournaments, which Ashwin is also part of. Also, what I enjoyed reading in the book was how after he was selected in the IPL and he started playing for the Chennai Super Kings, he's written about how the IPL bubble functioned, and it came to me as a surprise that players keep joining teams in between IPL seasons, then leaving them, and then rejoining them, because he joined them for the first couple of games, then he was dropped, so he went back home from Delhi or something, and then he rejoined the bubble after a few games of the IPL had happened, and he was called up again in Bangalore. So he was not with the team for the whole season. He kept coming and going because he was a fringe player at that time. He was not one of the players who would always be in the 11. So that to me, I mean, it's probably common sense, but reading that part in the book was very surprising, and it was very curious also. Also how is written very fondly about his love story, how he met his future wife in school and then disconnected with her, reconnected in the IPL bubble again when she was shooting an event and so on. So it makes for fantastic reading. I think one other book that I remember reading like this, which reveals a lot of the player of the human behind the player, was Sanjay Manjrekar's Imperfect. But yeah, Ashwin's book is a brilliant read. So if you love cricket, if you love reading, I think uh, uh, pick up this book and read it. It will leave you uh, with a with a smile on your face. Anything you guys want to add?
Do you think Ashwin wants to kind of, focus more on broadcasting and writing than playing cricket? Is that one of the reason why he's gone for this
Absolutely. I
move?
think he's already doing a lot of broadcasting with his YouTube channel, right? So he's already
Yeah.
spending time and talking. And he's also being criticized for that. So while in the Australia tour, I think he made a couple of episodes about the IPL auction. So there's no doubt he'll continue to do that. And if you remember this, one of us mentioned in the WhatsApp group as well, that the hug that Harsha Bhogle gave him at the end of his retirement speech. So Harsha Bhogle later mentioned that he also offered, Ashwin offered to give an interview to Bogle and to explain
Discuss
him,
on spin or something.
discuss on
Yeah,
spin
yeah,
bowling, right? So he's always at the
yeah.
forefront of coming out and discussing these things. Of course, keep doing that. He'll keep doing that. Also, will be a
Yeah, I
great
mean, like,
addition to the
how
commentator.
Karthik turned out to be a fantastic commentator,
Yeah,
Dinesh Karthik. I think, probably that's what he's calling, saying, if they're not going to play him
yeah,
in 11, I may
yeah,
as well retire and, be part of the broadcasting team,
absolutely.
which, as you said, he'll be a good addition. He's a sharp brain, so it'll be a good,
Yeah,
good analysis that we could
yeah.
get out of him.
And surely he'll have a long career with the Chennai Super Kings, probably at least for the next 3 to 4 years. I foresee him playing now that he's completely retired, and
Yeah, I
then
mean,
commentary, I
IPL,
guess. Yeah,
if Dhoni is still playing, I can't see any reason why Ashwin can't play up until
yeah,
40, 41.
right.
Uh,
Competition within the clubs.
Yeah,
So that was a new thing for me. I knew it in Mumbai. It is like very, very tough. But Chennai was a surprise to me. So
yeah,
that was
Excellent.
also something
yeah.
new that I came across. But a good read overall. If somebody,
Absolutely.
a
Yeah,
cricket nugget probably would enjoy it even
yeah.
more.
And one last thing before concluding, I think one thing that struck for me was also when he became part of the dressing room for the India team. The team was largely dominated by players from north of India, or at least north of Madhya Pradesh, and the common language in the dressing room was Hindi. How he struggled with that, and he decided to give up cricket because of that at one point. Then he took some Hindi lessons and came back. So also this cultural aspect and the social aspect of the game. But great talking, and thanks a lot for your time, guys, and wish Ravi Ashwin a great post-international career, and we'll continue to see him.
See you
Bye for
guys.
now.